It's a lovely good evening to you all today, the 24th of September 2023. To present Camnet Television News, my name is Jeffrey Ziambo. The headlines: Police warn associates of former President Edgar Lungu for unlawful assembly. The UPND government accused of trivializing concerns over the high cost of living. A social scientist cautions authorities against unlawful arrests of government critics. In international news, Ghanaians continue to protest over the high cost of living. And in sports news, Aston Villa winner piles more misery on Chelsea.
On Monday, 25th September 2023, on National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chiluba with his guest, Honorable Chipoka Mlenga, Minister of Commerce and Trade.
Worse, no, we take over from up. When do we ever hear that they're employing in the mining sector? It never happened. The mining sector, even as we speak, has crumbled.
As they discuss, what's the future economic outlook of Zambia? Watch and subscribe to Camnet Television Network on DSTV channel 274, GoTV channel 25, Topstar channel 106.
Invite others to participate through phoning on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp and text messages.
Camnet Television, your #1 community station in Zambia. This is your channel of choice. Camnet TV.
Not just another channel.
Beginning 26 September 2023, watch a Zambian wedding on Camnet Television. Time 16 hours every Tuesday and Thursday, only on Camnet Television. Camnet Television has become your channel in Zambia and globally. Watch and subscribe to Camnet Television on Facebook, YouTube and other social platforms. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
That's a report I was given. Ati, sayendako bosi, atu mizako muntu. Eka nitupumleko please. Tulibeba banja knife. Because if I don't go to their doorsteps, the relation is a sinner. Better vis-a-vis. Let me start dealing with this vis-a-vis. From a doorstep, head on.
At your doorstep. Time 11 hours to 12 hours every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. And repeats from 18 to 19 hours every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. Camnet Television, not just another channel. Now the news in detail. Players in the water sector are keen to see the full implementation of the Zambia Water Investment Program that seeks to resolve cross-cutting water and sanitation challenges affecting the country by 2030. The ZIP is also a program that falls within the Continental Africa Water Investment Program, AIP, that was adopted by the African heads of state and government in February 2021 during the 34th Ordinary Session of the Assembly of the African Union. The main expected result from the Pan-African AIP is a leveraging of sustainable development goals investments worth about $30 billion annually by 2030 and the resultant creation of 5 million jobs over the same period. Waters Aid Zambia's technical manager, Engineer Adamson Sakala, says the Zambia Water Investment Program is progressive, but that there is a need to expedite resource mobilization and project execution. Here's a report.
The Zambia Water Investment Program was launched by President Hakainde Hichilema on the 16th of July 2022. The key results that are expected from the formulation and implementation of the Zambia Investment Program are the leveraging of about $5.75 billion United States dollars for water security and sanitation investments and the creation of about 2,000 formal jobs in Zambia by the year 2030. One would certainly hope that resource mobilization would be expedited so that issues of water scarcity, where people are being compelled to drink unsafe and unclean water in areas like Gwembe district, will be curtailed. WaterAid Zambia's technical manager, Engineer Adamson Sakala, underscores the need for government and cooperating partners to be more deliberate about resource mobilization.
We would want to see increased financing. We have the Zambia water investment plan already in place. We want to see more money getting into the water sector. For every dollar that you put in the water sector, you may save about $4 on the health bills, because we are preventing waterborne diseases and these other things that are preventable.
World Fund for Nature, WWF, Freshwater Project Team Lead, Beauty Mbale, says it is progressive that Zambia is ahead by formulating a water investment program.
I think that it's very progressive. Also that it speaks to our 8th National Development Plan, which also has a sustainability pillar that is there, that we think is also speaks to Zambia's, of course, Zambia's aim and ambition to seek water security, but not only that, to also ensure that then they are also safeguarding and sustainably managing the resources.
We also engaged National Water Supply and Sanitation Council, Mwasco Chief Inspector Peter Mutale.
When you look at the origin of this Zambia Water Investment Program, it was coming from what was agreed upon during the 34th session of the African Union. All the head of states agreed that we needed to come up with a program for Africa, which was being called Africa Water Investment Program. And from that program for Africa, it was agreed that actually we needed about $30 billion annually to meet the sustainable development goals on water. So every country in Africa was requested to come up with their own program in terms of investment.
He also highlighted that there's a need to put in place a tracking mechanism on finance and project implementation.
But also what is important also is to look at how we track the investments. Because at times we may raise these funds, and these funds, they go into the water sector without really knowing that we are doing the investments. So we need to have what we call a track fin, where we track the finances. What is going to capital investments, what is going to operations and maintenance costs. So that is being looked at from the Ministry of Water Development and Sanitation. Of course, we are supporting the ministry, all of us, so that we can ensure that this investment program becomes a reality.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
The Zambia Water, Sanitation, Engineering and Allied Workers Union has appealed to the National Water Supply and Sanitation Council, NWASCO, to approve the proposal by water utility companies in the country to raise water tariffs, saying the hike will enable the water boards to operate efficiently. Union General Secretary Moses Mwale says he is surprised that NWASCO has taken so long to approve the water tariffs. Mr. Mwale says their appeal is justifiable, considering that operation, maintenance and production costs for water supply services in the country have increased significantly. He has expressed fear that at the current level of tariffs, the water utility companies risk closing down. Mr. Mwale says NWASCO should emulate the Energy Regulation Board, ERB, which announces the increase of fuel prices every month despite a backlash from citizens.
Actually, a surprise that it has taken so long, because for the past 3 years, I think the government has not adjusted. So it's something that is not supposed to be politicized, because the inputs for the production of water and the sanitation services are usually actually important. So these companies need to buy these chemicals in forex, machinery and the other components. So the operational costs for these organizations in the water sector are actually high. So we are surprised as a union that it has taken so long. At some point, I think we came out in the media and demanded, because if you look at the ERB, They will just announce. But what is the problem with NAWAS for the regulator? That they have to take the proposals again to the Ministry of Water for further analysis and also to announce. Then what is the relevance of the regulator? Why are they there?
Ministry of Information Director spokesperson Tawakawana has cautioned people behind a fake video circulating on social media purporting that President Hakainde Hichilema will not contest the 2026 general elections. Mr. Kawana says using social media to bring the name of the head of state into disrepute would not be condoned. Mr. Kawana charged that the video circulating on social media and other media platforms is fake and aimed at championing the interests of some selfish individuals. He warned perpetrators in the habit of manipulating video footage that they would face the full wrath of the law.
I wish to express my sincere acknowledgement of the challenges we have faced during my tenure as the leader of this nation. It is with the utmost sincerity and a profound sense of duty to our great nation that I announce my decision to not seek re-election in the upcoming general elections of 2026. I believe this decision is in the best interest of our country and its future.
I have noted with great concern a video poorly edited and doing rounds on social media purporting to be that of His Excellency the President announcing that he will not be able to stand in 2026. We want to say that the video must be dismissed with the contempt it deserves. It is fake, it is poorly edited, it's not even the voice of the President. And we want to warn perpetrators that are in the habit of manipulating video footages and doing that, especially those involving leaders, including the President, that when you are caught up, you will face the music of the law. It is best to play around with what you want to play with, but desist from playing around with offices, especially that of His Excellency the President, because that is a repository of our country, and we must be able to respect that office. And to begin to make things and purport that that is what he has said when he has not done that, that is not good for a country. It is also not good for a citizen. It is not good for us as a people to be able to portray our leaders in such a fashion. So let us desist. And we want to again to announce that that video is fake and there is no such an announcement. Even the voice in the video is not that of His Excellency the President.
Police in Lusaka have warned the opposition Patriotic Front cadres who were jogging with former President EDGAR LUNGU to desist from holding unlawful assembly. Police spokesperson Ray Hamonga has noted with concern that some PF cadres during the routine jogging of the former head of state took advantage of the situation and held unlawful assembly and political activism. Mr. Hamonga says what transpired yesterday, where Patriotic Front cadres went about disrupting the free flow of traffic, amounts to unlawful assembly and going forward shall not be tolerated.
The Zambia Police Service has noted with concern the unlawful assembly and political activism that was conducted by Patriotic Front cadres on Saturday, 23rd September 2023, when the former President, Mr. Edgar Lungu, was conducting his morning jogging routine. We would like to warn the Patriotic Front cadres that public gatherings or demonstrations, including political events, should be notified to the police as by law established. Failure to do so amounts to a breach of the law. This is to ensure public safety, traffic management, and to prevent disruptions to the daily lives of citizens. What transpired yesterday, where Patriotic Front cadres went about disrupting the free flow of traffic, amounts to unlawful assembly and going forward shall not be tolerated. Such a procession of former head of state should be done with his security detail and devoid of political activism.
A governance activist, Jose Kunda, has predicted more economic hardship in the near future following the announcement by Russia to temporarily ban exports of gasoline and diesel to all countries outside the circle of 4 ex-Soviet states with immediate effect in order to stabilize the domestic market. In an interview with Camnet TV News, Mr. Kunda observes that the move by Russia will automatically lead to scarcity of fuel worldwide and will result in a significant rise in the commodity. He reiterates that both government and citizens must be realistic and should be ready to face the hardships that are coming forth. Mr. Kunda adds that while the general public is already complaining due to the skyrocketing of essential commodities, among them increase in fuel prices, meal transportation costs, high cost of doing business and increase in cooking oil and other goods, the situation is likely to worsen.
With the recent announcement made by Russia, we expect the scarcity of fuel commodities affecting so many countries, including ours. And as the country do the review of the fuel prices, we expect Energy Regulation Board to announce an increase of fuel at the end of this month. And this would definitely have a negative effect on the prices of the essential commodities. We expect the skyrocketing of essential commodities in our country. With already the hard economic crisis our country is engulfed in, we expect the situation to worsen. As a result, we are making a nationwide appeal to all the citizens of our Republic of Zambia not to expect too much from the government, because this is an international situation that is affecting us. And it is unfortunate that the UPND government has done away with subsidies on meal and fuel. We expect the trend to continue worsening.
The Community Health Action on Prevention, Rehabilitation and Empowerment CHAPRE Outreach Programs Organization is disappointed with the government's failure to fulfill the campaign bordering on improving the lives of Zambians. CHAPRE Outreach Programs Executive Director Chazingwa Daka says playing a blind eye on the high cost of living is like mocking the people who woke up early in the morning to cast their votes with the hope of an improved economy and better living standards. He says it is unbelievable and unfortunate to hear and see how the leader of government business in Parliament responded to pertinent questions raised by members of Parliament on the monthly fuel reviews, high meal prices and high cost of living. Mr. Daka has demanded that the President and his government pay particular attention to cries of Zambians on the high cost of living.
The outreach program is disappointed with the new Dawn government in the manner and the way they have retained on the promises they made whilst in the opposition and immediately after assuming office. Playing a blind eye on the high cost of living is like mocking the people who woke up early in the morning to cast their votes with the hope of an improved economy and better living standards. It is unbelievable and unfortunate to hear and see how the leader of government business in Parliament responded to pertinent questions raised by members of Parliament on the monthly fuel reviews, high minimum prices and high cost of living. We demand that the President and his government pay particular attention to cries of Zambians on the high cost of living. The church has spoken, civil society has spoken, Zambians have spoken, but it appears like this government has opted to give Zambians a deaf ear, as can be evidenced by government's response on this topical issue. Secondly, CHAPRE outreach program would like to appeal to the government to try and walk the talk, especially on the rule of law.
A social scientist, Innocent Cholera, has advised the ruling United Party for National Development, UPND, to tread carefully with the unnecessary arrests of the opposition in the country. Mr. Cholera says the UPND should learn from the previous regime, which was arresting people for no reason, which has now resulted in people demanding compensation, as is the case with the 5 UPND members who were arrested together with President Hakainde Hichilema for treason in 2017. He says although going by the law, they have a right to go and seek compensation. Looking at the current performance of the economy, the trend is costly and not necessary. Mr. Cholera is therefore advising the Zambia Police Service to ensure that they adhere to President Hakainde Hichilema's directive that before arresting any individual, they should do a thorough investigation to avoid such incidences from happening.
Politics, they had to arrest certain individuals who had even not committed an offense which required themselves to be, of course, arrested, not only arrested, even to be thrown into prison. But later on, when the courts now exonerated them, the court found that they were innocent. Of course, going by the law, they have a right. They need to go and seek for compensation, which we have started seeing about 6.1 million people are seeking for such huge sums of money as compensation. Yes, it's their democratic right. They need to get that money. But is it necessary? Or the previous government, what they cost? Was it necessary to cause such an amount of money being lost just because of politics or just because of a certain feelings? We are appealing to this able government. Please, let's learn from the past, because exactly what transpired by the PF government, where they were arresting people without taking them to court, or maybe rushingly being taken to court, but the court now acquits them. Later on, now they demand for compensation. Similarly, if we are not going to be aware or wary about what we are doing, we are going to find ourselves in such similar circumstance. Henceforth, let's try by all means to stand by what the rule of law stipulates, of ensuring that we give equal justice to everyone without any discrimination. If it's politics, fight in the political ground, and not using the police or using the court to help you fight the politics. That should not be.
African countries are facing the challenge of improving the uptake and continuation by increasing the uptake of new available PrEP options, such as the ring and injectable PrEP, as measures to mitigate HIV. A public health specialist based in Kenya, Dr. Daniel Owere, has observed that PrEP, the research shows that there has been a lack of consistency among people who are using PrEP, a situation they seek to reverse. Dr. Were, who is JPIGO Project Director and Regional Technical Advisor, says a lack of convenience to access medication is a contributing factor to the low continuation levels of PrEP. Speaking during the Media Science Cafe in Kenya training, where Dr. Were says they are undertaking research to assess the best ways of sustaining people on treatment. Here's a report.
Pre-exposure prophylaxis, or PrEP, is medicine that is taken to prevent getting HIV. PrEP is highly effective for preventing HIV when taken as prescribed. In most African countries, Kenya and Zambia inclusive, where PrEP has been approved, a good number of people take up PrEP. Like in the case of Zambia, 26,953 people were involved between 2018 and 2019, but research shows that continuation remains low at 25%. Sylvia Okoth has been a PrEP user for about 7 years and shared her experience with Camnet News on the sidelines of the media symposium on COVID-19, HIV, and preparing for new pandemics in Nairobi, Kenya.
When I started using PrEP, I was encountering a lot of challenges in matters, pill burden. At some point I also undergone intimate partner violence because my partner at that time thought I was maybe HIV positive because of the myths and misconceptions of PrEP. So as time went by, of course my other colleagues were experiencing the same.
Okoth, who also represents the Bars and Hostess Empowerment and Support Program, stresses the need for African governments to make oral, vaginal ring, and injectable PrEP available to widen choices. We spoke to Dr. Michael Kirago, a public health specialist based in Nairobi.
Not done very well is to prepare communities to take up PrEP. As you know, there are very many products that are in the pipeline that are being developed, but we are not preparing the communities to take up these interventions.
Dr. Daniel Were is JPIGO Project Director and Regional Technical Advisor, who explained that they are undertaking a research to improve models of delivering PrEP to enhance continuation levels and that so far preliminary findings indicate positive results.
Some of this research, for example, around pharmacy platforms as potential delivery avenues, online PrEP delivery platforms, as well as other community models, even just diversification within the existing facilities beyond just offering PrEP within the HIV treatment centers or comprehensive care centers, as well as outpatient departments, vaginal ring, as well as the long-acting injectable cabotegravir. Just important to note that these two products were included in the 2022 version of the Kenya ARV guidelines. But beyond that inclusion, of course, the products are not available to the general public if you walk to any health facility.
Okoth is happy that scientists are keen to conveniently serve the people.
So we are very happy as PrEP users to get to be exposed to other methods, or to be given other options when it comes to PrEP. So like the pivarin ring, it's still a study that is going on, and we are lucky to be chosen as BioStates to be one of the study sites of the pivarin ring. That is something that will be taken up by PrEP users at let me say 100%.
Just like in Kenya, Zambia is equally seeking to enhance the utilization of telemedicine, and certainly the component of making PrEP more accessible through private healthcare providers and pharmacies would equally be ideal for Zambia. Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
This is Camnet Television, the main news. We'll take a break. Join us for more news after the break.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962 642 490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Deborah, have you connected to the Wi-Fi on the bus? It's fast, it's amazing. I've just downloaded my books and I'm about to complete the series. It's nice, chew me.
No, I'm actually watching a reality show. He's about to propose. Oh, so sweet.
Make your trip seem short yet comfortable and safe when you use the UBZ luxurious fully air-conditioned coaches that come fitted with amazing onboard entertainment, passenger information services, coffee-making facilities and fridge for your hot and cold beverages, free and interrupted Wi-Fi for your gadgets, phone charging facilities, comfortable seats that recline to offer extra resting posture, safety seat belts, adjustable reading lights for each traveling client, and of course, clean flushing toilets for your convenience. So travel in luxury and safety with UBZ luxurious coaches. UBZ will always take you there.
On Monday, 25th September 2023, on National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chiluba with his guest, Honorable Chipoka Mlenga, Minister of Commerce and Trade.
Worse, no, we take over from up. When do we ever hear that they're employing in the mining sector? It never happened. The mining sector, even as we speak, has crumbled.
As they discuss, what's the future economic outlook of Zambia? Watch and subscribe to Camnet Television Network on DSTV channel 274, GoTV channel 25, Topstar channel 106.
Invite others to participate through phoning on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp, and text messages.
Camnet Television, your #1 community station in Zambia. This is your channel of choice. Camnet TV.
Not just another channel.
Welcome back. Secretary to the Royal Establishment in Shangombo District of Western Province, Dominic Shomeno, has expressed worry over the indiscriminate and illegal harvesting of rosewood timber in Shangombo District of Western Province. In an interview, Mr. Shomeno says there is a need to protect the species from being depleted. Meanwhile, Shangombo District Commissioner Mubita Siyamana says despite having concession-licensed dealers, authorities are restricted in making sure that they operate within the given areas. More in this report.
While a high proportion of illegal timber, mainly log, charcoal and fuel wood, remain on the domestic market, valuable tree species are reportedly sourced without the appropriate license. Rosewood grows in the tropical region of the world, and the name encompasses several dark red hardwood species of tree. The wood harvested from this type of trees is valued for its characteristics of being strong, heavy, and aesthetically pleasing, which has led to it being in high demand for creating furniture and music instruments. As the world seeks to slow the pace of climate change, preserve wildlife, and support more than 8 billion people, trees inevitably hold a major part of the answer. Yet the mass destruction of trees, deforestation continues, sacrificing the long-term benefit of standing trees for a short-term gain of fuel and materials for manufacturing and construction. Secretary to the Royal Establishment in Shangombo District in Western Province, Dominic Shomeno, expresses concern over the indiscriminate and illegal harvesting of rosewood timber in the district. He says the district continues to witness increased discriminating cutting of trees, which has contributed to the effect of climate change.
The other issue is that which has contributed to lack of rainfall is the cutting of timber. Because the government has given a lot of concessions to the Chinese to come and cut timbers in Shangombo, especially on the rosewood tree. And because the rosewood tree also preserves water, according to our historical background, what we know. So because most of those trees have been cut now completely, they have been wiped out. There are a lot of contractors or maybe timber dealers in Shangombo. So all this has resulted into the effect on the hunger situation in Shangombo for the rain to fail to fall properly accordingly.
Shangombo District Commissioner Mubita Siyamana says despite having licensed dealers, authorities have restricted in making sure that they operate within the given areas.
What we did, we have been engaging with the local communities, of course with the traditional leadership, to impart more knowledge and discourage them from this unnecessary cutting down of trees. In as much as we know that we have some licensed concessional licensed dealers around, we are very much restricted in making sure that they operate within the given areas. So we are on track, though with a lot of challenges, of course.
Miriam Kaimba reporting for Camnet TV News.
A resident of Kalumbila district in Northwestern Province has commended government for introducing youth and adult literacy education Yale in schools in the district. Speaking on behalf of the beneficiaries of Yale, Irene Kanguya says following the introduction of Yale in the district, she is able to read and write. Mrs. Kanguya has since encouraged her mates who have never been to school to quickly enroll for young and adult literacy education in their various schools despite their old age. Meanwhile, Kalumbila Education Standards Officer, Open and Distance Learning, Richard Kinyanta, says Yale is transforming the lives of communities in the district.
Isina damna dina diruka wanyi itina kusoneka neru kikutanga ni message mfoni ya wamanta wami na ding na iruka wanye na kwezo kumana chuma chimutare manankashi kuimena kuda headmaster wetu kuimena kuda madam wetu ana mama na mawamutima nina na maticha mwa kwa mtaririku He would teach our tutor Mukabake sang, so as I'm the Gananira. Then I teach one of men and moon from Tishukuang. Murangadina Kekisana Quimana. Erana say something to Imikang.
We are here to showcase what the adult learners are learning under adult literacy, knowing very well that our education sector has got sub-sectors where we have early childhood education, we have the primary education, then we have the secondary education, and of course we have adult literacy as a sub-sector. This is what we have come to witness today, sir. Here we have a number of schools that are...
Tourism Permanent Secretary Evans Mohanga has said there are several opportunities that exist in the tourism sector for Chinese investments. Speaking when a delegation from the China-Africa Industrial Cooperation Promotion Center that is in the country from the 18th to the 25th of September 2023 to explore investment opportunities in various sectors of the economy paid a courtesy call on him, the PS said tourism has more to offer considering that there are limited facilities that are catering for the Chinese visitors in Zambia. He said in line with a memorandum of understanding recently signed on tourism when President Hakainde Hichilema visited that country, there is an opportunity to invest in the meetings, incentives, conferences and events MICE that could hold many people in places like Livingston. China Africa Industrial Cooperation Promotion Center head of delegation Wen Bao Tan, who spoke through an interpreter, said the team is in the country to explore investment opportunities in sectors such as agriculture, fisheries and livestock, mining, energy, tourism, water and sanitation, technology and science, education, among others.
But also you helped this country, of course, building the international airport for us. But what we want to do is to follow up on the issue of how we actually have a direct flight from China to Lusaka, because then connectivity, which is a very important element in tourism, than actually coming, go to South Africa, then from South Africa, that's when you come here, we go to Kenya, then from Kenya it's 3 hours flight again. So if we can reduce on interconnectivity, when they come here as well, there are a few hotels in Lusaka, for example, also in the Copper Belt that have Chinese investment, but they are not enough as we have studied the Chinese community that they travel in big groups, you know, and we need also facilities still that will be able to accommodate.
We have brought quite a number of companies in trades and also in investments. Of course, there are also other companies that we work with in China who cannot make it this time, but then those are all partners. So really, the visits, through all the conversations we've been having with the Ministry of Commerce and also their organizations, for example, the ZDA, as well as other industry governing agencies within the Zambian government over this past week, we have been having a lot of very fruitful conversations on investment opportunities in different sectors.
The Media Network Action on Climate Change has called on the government to enhance the protection of the country's rivers, which continue to face numerous threats due to increased population, among other reasons. MENAC Executive Coordinator Kennedy Perry says there are numerous threats putting pressure on these water bodies, leading to overexploitation and abuse. Mr. Perry says despite Zambia being ranked as one of the most water-rich countries in Africa, the status is being threatened by both climate change and human activities. Zambia joined the rest of the world today, Sunday, the 24th of September 2023, to commemorate World Rivers Day under the theme Waterways in Our Communities.
We wish to call on government to enhance protection of the country's rivers and other water bodies. Our call basically stems from the fact that we have seen the increase in population, which is exerting pressure on these water bodies, thereby threatening, their sustainable sustainable use or proper management of these water bodies. And so basically the issue is that we need to use our water bodies or our rivers sustainably for posterity's sake. But beyond that, I think we are in a time where we are seeing the effects of climate change. And so our rivers also, there's this pressure on them because of the effects of climate change. And so we need to ensure that all these factors are taken into consideration. Not only that, we know that these rivers are very important in the economic development of this country. And so if we are going to continue to using our rivers for the economic purposes and benefit for this country, then sustainable use is the way or is the key that we need to talk about. And so there's need to enhance awareness and sensitization, especially for communities that live along these rivers. As we commemorate this day, we are aware of the threats that are being posed on the Zambezi River, the Kafue River, the Luangwa River, the Kafubu River on the Copper Belt, the Solwezi River in Northwestern Province, to mention but a few. Of course, we can draw lessons from what is happening to the Magoe River in Southern Province, which is already, as we speaking, there are measures to restore that river. Why are we talking about restoration? Something went wrong.
We take a break. Join us for international sports news after the break.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RenGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
That's a report I was given. Ati sayendako bosi atumizako muntu ekanitupumuleko please tulina mabanja knife Speta chambe nyambo konkera, because if I don't go to their doorsteps, the relation is a sira. Better vis-a-vis. Let me start dealing with this vis-a-vis. I'm a doorstep chambe head on.
At your doorstep. Time 11 hours to 12 hours every Monday, Wednesday and Friday, and repeats from 18 to 19 hours every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
On Monday, 25th September 2023, on National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chiluba with his guest, Honorable Chipoka Mlenga, Minister of Commerce and Trade.
Worse, no, we take over from up. When did we ever hear that they are employing in the mining sector? It never happened. The mining sector, even as we speak, has crumbled.
As they discuss, what's the future economic outlook of Zambia? Watch and subscribe to Camnet Television Network on DSTV channel 274, GoTV channel 25, Topstar channel 106.
Invite others to participate through phoning on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp and text messages.
Camnet Television, your #1 community station in Zambia. This is your channel of choice. Camnet TV.
Not just another channel.
Welcome back. We'll continue with the news. With placards reading "Ghana deserves better," "We are tired of being voting machines," or "People equals power," protesters rallied in Accra. The three-day Occupy Julobi House campaign ended on Saturday, September 23. Despite downpour and sun, demonstrators rallied for political change and economic reform. Protesters were bent on going to the seat of government, the Golden Jubilee House, but the police barred their way. The police initially responded with force on September 21, arresting over 50 protesters, including journalists. Here's a roundup of news beyond our borders.
With placards reading "Ghana deserves better," "We are tired of being voting machines," or "People equals power," protesters rallied in Accra. The three-day Occupy Julabi House campaign ended on Saturday. Despite downpour and sun, demonstrators rallied for political change and economic reform.
We are only being Ghanaians. All we need is food, water, clothes. We want to be able to take care of our mothers and our fathers.
Protesters were bent on going to the seat of government, Golden Jubilee House, but the police barred their way. The police initially responded with force on September 21, arresting over 50 protesters, including journalists.
Let President Akufo-Addo and the Ghanaian police have been told that anytime anyone resists peaceful change, violent change will occasion. We don't want to engage in violence, but if they push us to the wall, we have no other option.
The protest has its roots in the Fix the Country movement, which emerged in 2021. If Ghana's government did not officially comment on the campaign, its convener from Democracy Hub remained determined.
At the end of this path, there are blessings of prosperity and liberty. Liberty that the founding generation promised us. But we must not relent, because the forces that seek the downfall of this republic are alive and well. They control the institutions of government. They control the courts, they control the police force, they control the military. But they cannot control the streets. We have shown them that when every institution in this country is captured and co-opted and has lost its voice, the streets will speak loud and louder than any point of time.
The campaign kicked off while President Akufo-Addo was in New York for the UN General Assembly. Ghana tops African countries with highest debt with the IMF. Addressing the UN General Assembly, Ethiopia's Deputy Prime Minister urged member states to choose global partnership over geopolitical competition. Demeke Mekanon Hassan also stressed Saturday that domestic and external funds were required to unleash Africa's potential.
Ethiopia calls on all member states to recommit the Charter of the United Nations. Maintaining the status quo will not advance our shared interest of ensuring peace and prosperity. We should collectively work for an inclusive multilateral system to renew our global solidarity.
The Deputy PM hailed the Pretoria peace deal, which ended the conflict in northern Ethiopia, calling it an embodiment of African solutions to African problems. He also called the reform of the Security Council an absolute necessity. At least 34 people died in Benin on Saturday when a warehouse for smuggled fuel exploded into flames, a government official and residents said. The blaze erupted in the commune of Semekpoji near Nigeria's border. Local media report that the prosecutor's office has launched an investigation. Benin's interior minister was among the officials who visited the scene. As I speak, we have unfortunately recorded 34 deaths, including that of 2 babies. The cause of the fire was fuel, particularly smuggled fuel. The fire left charred bodies. We have also recorded 20 injured who've sustained injuries of varying seriousness. At the moment, we have been able to stabilize all the burn victims, 12 of whom are in critical condition and in intensive care. It must be said that given the intensity of the fire, burn levels can sometimes reach up to 100% of the affected body surface. That's how serious these cases are. The blaze, which sent a black cloud of smoke into the sky, shocked residents. For decades, Nigeria's subsidized fuel was transported illegally by road to neighboring countries to be resold on the black market.
Hello again, and in sports news tonight, Chelsea's stuttering start to the Premier League season took another turn for the worse as Aston Villa piled more misery on the 10-man Blues with victory at Stamford Bridge. Ollie Watkins fired home an unearning winner between the legs of Robert Sanchez from an incredibly tight angle as Villa capitalized on Malo Gusto's dismissal for dangerous play. Mauricio Pochettino's hosts fashioned plenty of chances before Gusto's red card for a poorly timed tackle that caught Lucas Dini on the ankle, but as so often this season failed to take any of them. Nicholas Jackson and Raheem Sterling were both denied one-on-one by excellent Emiliano Martinez saves, while Enzo Fernandez sliced another glorious opportunity wide. Chelsea had been equally indebted to their own goalkeeper as Sanchez made a pair of flying fingertip saves to thwart beautifully struck volleys by Dini and Nicolo Zaniolo. There were chances at both ends after Gusto's was sent off, but Villa, who climbed to 6, took one of theirs via Watkins, while Chelsea failed to score for a third successive game to stay 14th. That football note brings us to the end of our news tonight. Before we go, the headlines once again. Police warn associates of former President Edgar Lungu for unlawful assembly. The UPND government accused of trivializing concerns over the high cost of living. A social scientist cautions authorities against unlawful arrests of government critics. In international news, Ghanaians continue to protest over the high cost of living. And in sports news, Aston Villa winner piles more misery on Chelsea. Our coming verse of the day is coming from the book of Romans 13 verse 7. Render therefore to all their dues, tribute to whom tribute is due, custom to whom fear, honor to whom honor. Thank you for watching Camnet Television News. I'm Jeffrey Ziambo. Bye-bye.